Rolling Stone has dropped another expose, this time targeting the Queer Eye cast, particularly focusing on fan favorite Jonathan Van Ness, who has been accused of being an abusive nightmare on the Queer Eye set. What's going on here? Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Eddie Signer. Now, let me just be honest. My Queer Eye cast will always be Carson and Jay and Ted and Tom. You know, this crew, the original crew is when I used to watch the show. I thought it was a lot of fun. They rebooted it more recently for Netflix, and it's become very popular. I'm not as familiar, but a new expose in Rolling Stone has dropped. And let me just say right out the gate, Rolling Stone does this a lot. So I'm not looking at this to aim guilt or innocent on anybody. Let's read some of these accusations and make up our own minds. They have not made any comments yet from the cast. But a lot of fans are now worried because these are production sources and people that have come forward trying to, call out the truth, apparently, about Jonathan Van Ness. But Rolling Stone's done this against Johnny. They did it against the Euphoria creator. They do this. They often find somebody to try to take down, and it doesn't always end in the result they think. So take these as you will. Allegations coming in from potentially disgruntled employees. Let's look at it all fairly. All right, so BuzzFeed has a pretty good recap because Rolling Stones is long and they just want you to pay it. They love to cancel people, put it in an article, and then make you pay for it. So then you don't actually read it. You just read the headline and then suddenly, I guess he's a bad guy. I don't even need to read it. It's very frustrating how they do that, but they have a tendency to do it. Let's look at BuzzFeed's recap. So Jonathan Van Ness, if you're unfamiliar, is this member of Queer Eye. Goes by they, them. It's always tough for me just because plurals are hard, but I want to be respectful. I'm always trying to be respectful, but if I mess up, apologies. I'm trying my best. Jonathan, they were being accused of being abusive, a nightmare on set, and a lot of people came forward from the production saying that they have rage issues, and they've had rage issues on the set of Queer Eye, according to sources who spoke to Rolling Stone as part of this report of the inner workings of the show. Debuting in 2018, the reimagined version of Queer Eye saw its Fab Five making over people from across the country, put the cast into the spotlight with Jonathan as a notable breakout star. They boast the highest Instagram follower count of any cast member. Jonathan boasts. That's why it's confusing when we read it in articles. It's my only problem. Look like the cast. Jonathan boasts the highest Instagram followers. And not to be fair, Jonathan is the one of all of them that I've known. Maybe it's because they stand out, always, wear very nice dresses. I also appreciate the beard. But Jonathan is definitely the fan favorite for a lot of people. And so a lot of people upset over this. Recent rollout of season 8, premiered in January, proved reportedly tumultuous. The show is going further with many changes as designer Bobby Berk announced his departure from the show in November 2023, making him the first of the Fab Five to exit the series and season 8 being his last. Last week, now Netflix announced Jeremiah Brent will be taking over Bobby's role. Rolling Stone spoke to a number of Queer Eye production sources about the state of affairs behind the scenes, including Jonathan's alleged behavior. Sources depicted Jonathan as a monster, nightmare, and a demeaning person. There's a real emotion of fear around them when they get angry. It's almost like a cartoon where it oozes out of Jonathan, who worked with Jonathan, told the publication. It's intense and scary. Another production source called the reality star a yeller and said that Jonathan would explode weekly. Jonathan did not respond to Rolling Stone's request for comment. Jonathan's a person who contains multitudes and who has the capacity to be very warm, very charismatic, and has the capacity to make you feel very special, that they are paying attention to you, another source who worked with Jonathan told the publication. But at least once a day, they would need to yell at somebody. It might be something small, but there's always going to be somebody to point out and blame and make the villain of the day. Yikes. Two sources further said that certain members of the Fab Five, including Bobby, subsequently didn't want to shoot scenes with Jonathan. There was absolutely tension between everybody else, especially from Jonathan Van Ness. Another production member told Rolling Stone he didn't want to ever share the spotlight with anybody. Jonathan, there were times when we couldn't even shoot scenes with certain members of the Fab Five because it got so bad. Again, seemingly all sourced from crew members, people on there. This doesn't just seem like sour grapes. This seems like an expose of somebody has to say something. And were they afraid to? Why would they be afraid to? Is Jonathan that much of a personality? Are they afraid of coming at someone who's certain pronoun. There's a lot at stake here. So it is interesting to see them, to see Rolling Stone make a report about Jonathan. Let's see. Let's continue. January Vanity Fair story about his exit. Bobby said of Jonathan, "I will miss Jonathan's ridiculous silliness to the point of sometimes wanting to wring their neck, but I will miss it. Working with him is very difficult in any capacity," another source said, with two sources further alleging that Jonathan's mood would then impact the overall set. There's a definite contrast between the principles and the values that Jonathan stands for publicly, a source who worked with Jonathan told Rolling Stone. Jonathan's really centered around having this warmth, love, and care for other people. There's a real contrast between that and the way that Jonathan treats the people who are closest to them or across the board. It's the opposite of what this person is touted and paid to be. Damning accusations for sure. This is not as much as good as he wants to do in the world. I think a lot of it is very hypocritical. Another production source told Rolling Stone. So look, I don't know them. I don't know a lot about this show particularly, but I did hear about this one cast member leaving. This seems to offer some insight as to why. Now, Jonathan has yet to make any comments. In fact, I'm going to check just at time of taping here. Let's refresh his feed. Has he posted any story? Nope, nothing yet. Still waiting to see, but 5.7 followers. JVN has a lot.
Or a hot slut who takes time to intentionally experience joy. And also doesn't wake up their mom because we're on vacation together right now. Oh my gosh, you're going to do great this week.
Okay, some inspirational, motivational comments. But look, I'm sure a lot of people are coming to their aid to defend them, as they should. These are allegations. This is not a court of law. Social media is not a court of law. And I like to be more fair, obviously, as we go through this. He just limited the comments. Oh, I shouldn't. Oh, here we go. Luckily I had it open. So he just turned off comments. Thankfully, I had it loaded before he turned it off. I've been working on a connection to Joy Lake. Oh, I really hope Rolling Stone article I just read has no truth to it. You've always been a positive force in social media. Someone who brings people up, people down. It would be kind of suck if you were just a facade. Sure would. That's why this is a big issue. You were going to comment on the article? Dear PR team for Jay, maybe you should address that Rolling Stone article. Really disheartened that the article just read about bad behavior behind the scenes on Queer Eye. I hope it's all a load of rubbish, as you seem like such a guiding light on a rainy day, although I imagine that takes its toll. Anyway, best wishes. Oh my God, please tell me that expose was a hit piece for whatever reason, because I love you so much and I really hope this isn't true. Fans are worried. Fans are worried that this is true. Again, I don't know. I want you guys to tell me what you think. To another great week. This is a very ominous article. Why do you say slut all the time now? Please explain the meaning behind this. I don't feel like it's empowering. Super dark times. It's important. Intentionally experience joy. Thank you. And of course, how did you not wake up your mom? You were being so loud. Yeah, I've been a fan since Game of Thrones, but if even 1/8 of the behavior discussed in the article is true, that's really bad, especially from some who grew up being bullied. To hear you might be doing this to others, no, lovey, I'm out. So a lot of people checking out just on base what they heard. And that's the problem here. We are now in a culture where we literally, Rolling Stone just writes a hit piece, and they've done this before, mind you, where they just say, yeah, here's what a bunch of disgruntled people say. Dude, you could find a ton of people who would say, I yelled at them and I'm a bully. It's so easy to spin that if that's your narrative. We need to know context. What's that mean? I mean, there's a lot of stuff here. It doesn't seem great. Doing it every day. I need more specifics to really make a decision here, but sure doesn't seem good. How he responds to this is going to be a lot more telling. Is he going to completely deny it and say it's false? Is he going to do the sort of apology to any of the things I've said wrong or people I've offended? There's a lot of approaches you can go. We'll see what happens here. But comments coming in, a lot of people upset about this. You realize that you are really a shitty person, that all of this nonsense is worthless. Address the BS. It's a lot of back and forth, and karma is coming. You're a national freaking treasure. It needs to be protected at all costs. So look, again, the way this works is no matter what happens, they will have a support system of fans that are going to support them. And there's going to be a lot of people who are disappointed. Rolling Stone, please not be true. We got to hear from Jonathan first, as we always should. Let's hear from the first person. And there we go. But it is interesting that now comments have been limited on this post. They weren't before. As we were loading and I'm in there, I got to see some of these before. So yeah, a lot of turmoil in the comments, support before this all happened. And now everybody coming in here to try to leave a comment to ask what's going on. And he's basically shut it down by limiting it. So I imagine a response is coming. It's kind of impossible to just ignore this. We'll see how long he does. But what do you think about all of this? Do you think, look, I'm not surprised that the nice guys get angry behind the scenes. Like, that's very common, especially in this industry. This industry is hard. It's tough. Still, you can be a nice person or you can be a jackass. And sure, we all have our bad days. I've had plenty. But if you're doing it regularly where the crew just hates you because you're always talking down and bullying them, if that's actually true about this article, then yeah, this guy's got some bad backlash coming. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep you posted. I'm curious, were you a fan? Do you know about the current Queer Eye cast? Are you not? Or are you like me? Did you watch the OG cast and like them? Tell me what you think. I'm curious. Or if you never heard of any of it, let me know. We're trying to open up your pop culture minds with all sort of pop culture topics. So hit the bell for all alerts, smash that button, leave a thumbs up, and leave us your comments down below. Appreciate all your faces. You guys are amazing. Let us know what you think. Again, innocent till proven guilty always.